Are you using the cabinet block in the Line 6 Pod Go to its fullest potential? I'm going to show you some navigational tips and tricks with the cab block in itself, where it can really help change your tone and shape it to, sounding okay to great. All right, so let's focus on the cabinet block here. So I've just picked a German Mahadeva amp, and we have some settings here for clean channel and a drive channel, just so we can hear the subtleties of the changes we're going to do on the cab block. Okay, so here's the cab block. I've picked Greenback 25412. I just think it sounds pretty good. Right, and that's without much tweaking. Okay, so let's start from the top parameter and work our way to the bottom. So mic. The microphone is huge. It's a really big deal in shaping your tone. Now, I have it on a Ribbon 160 mic right now. Here's how it sounds, as you've already heard. Okay, now that sounds nice with the dirt, okay? Now let's go to the clean channel, see how that sounds. Okay, and that sounds great too. So going back to the cab block, now you can change it to any mic that you want. Now there's a list here. Let's pop that down. Right. So what do we have? Like, I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Let's call it, 15 or so. Whatever. Great choices here. You have dynamic mics. You have some condensers, some dynamic down here. To be honest, just my preference, and I'm not saying these are the best mics, but the ones I use the most would be definitely the 57 and the 160 Ribbon, for sure. There are times where maybe I'll use the 4038 or the 121, but mostly I like using the 160 Ribbon, especially with a setup like this, because it takes some of the scratchiness out. It darkens the tone a little bit, but not as much as I find with like a 121 or a 4038. And then the dynamic mics, the first three here are wonderful. Like the 57, 409, 421 I found are the greatest. But there could be some amp and cab blocks that will benefit from a condenser mic. And as always, let your ears be the guide. So when you hear something that you like, then it's right, okay? But anyways, so you pick your mic. Now let's say, okay, you like that, but maybe not so much for the dirt. Let's go back to the dirt. Okay, maybe you find that's too dark. So here's a trick that you can do. Okay, now we're getting into the tips and tricks as mentioned. So if I get back to the cab block here, what you can do is do a parameter controller assignment, right? So you get this, cursor over the box here, and this is what you can do. You can change mics between the clean and the drive channel. All right, so let's do that. All right, so let's do this foot switch here. Okay, so now when we're in dirt mode, let's say we don't like that. So let's say, we want to change that. Let's say I'm going to put my pick down. Let's say we want to put that as a 57 because we want it to be a little more brighter, okay? All right. And then when we're in clean, let's say we want that to be our 160 Ribbon. Okay, and now we've done the assignment here, okay? So let's see what we got here. All right, now, actually, you know what we will do? What I should have done, sorry, folks, is that's just how you can do that switching if you wanted solitary control over that, or you want it separated. But what I would do is actually I would assign it to foot switch 4, because this is where I'm switching between clean and drive. So let's do that again. So we'll all learn again. So say I want that 57. And then I want the Ribbon 160. Okay. All right. So now That's what I probably should have done in the first place. So now we have the 57 with the dirt. And then we switch to our clean. And we have the ribbons, because we like the ribbon for the clean, but not so much for the dirt. All right, so that is huge in itself right there, and that might even be enough for your preset for the tone that you want. So yeah, if you have a preset with 2 drive channels, now there could be an instance where maybe you don't have 2 drive channels, but maybe you're using snapshots or whatnot. So again, in snapshot mode, say you have a tone that, you know, a rhythm crunch tone that sounds good with a certain mic, but then a lead, I want to brighten it, or I want to fatten it, or whatever, shave off something. You want to switch mics, you can do the same trick. Okay, so that's huge. Microphone choice is big. Okay, let's go down here to distance. So distance, as I play around with it, I have it at 1. Play around with this to hear how you like it. Let's go to the extreme. Let's put it all the way to 12 inches away, a foot away. Okay, so that gives it a little more distance, a little more space, make it like a bigger room sounding. Okay, so again, that is also going to help your tone. I tend to like to stick to like between 1 and 3, but let's say if we wanted to do here 6, halfway. And let's go back to 1. Anyways, that kind of affects how it's sounding in the room, quote unquote. Okay, so distance is also a factor here. These are all factors. Pretty simple here. Let's go to low cut and high cut. So low cut, obviously the higher you go, you're gonna lose the bottom end. All right, so it is good in some cases when it's too boomy. I tend to myself stick to anywhere between 90 to 120. So let's keep it at 100. See, I find for this tone it's beefy but not too boomy, so definitely use that. Now high cut, so let's be extreme and let's bring it all the way down. Okay, and then you can have it all the way up if you want it bright. Again, use your ears to, from here to here is not going to make a difference. Here to here is not really going to make it. You're going to have to make some big leaps, right? So like for high cut, I don't know. I kind of just tend to go myself somewhere between 8 kilohertz and 10. That's where I like it. So again, highs and lows, that's basically all you're shaving off with these 2 cuts. Does help your tone, does affect the tone. These are all working, these are all important. Like some people that I talk to, or maybe I've seen on a video, don't pay much attention to the cab lock, very subtly, because the tone, if it's a one trick pony tone preset, might not need to do so much bells and whistles, because maybe the dials on the amp or the parameters on the amp or the dedicated EQ block will get you what you need. But don't overlook the cab block, because this is a very important block as well for tone shaping, and it can make a big difference. I find the microphone and your cab selection are huge in conjunction with the amp that you're using and the dials that you're in, the tone, the parameters that you're setting on the amps. Anyways, okay. I'm going to turn the reverb off now because I have some reverb on there. If I can turn it off, thank you. We're going to look at early reflections. Now, this is, again, these kind of make the amp, again, sound like it's in the room, kind of getting that natural amp sound. So let's hear the amp with no early reflections. Okay, so that's pretty dry. So let's put them all the way up for the extreme. it almost kind of sounds like it's in a bathroom, right? But this is kind of neat. Again, this is a tool that not many people use. I don't use it too much sometimes, you know, it depends. Like, I like a lot of reverb, but I mean, I like having my reverb on, but you know, subtle, but I need it there enough that I can hear it. I can't go really dry. Now this is kind of dry for me, but you can use this in conjunction with your reverb to make that amp sound a little more realistic and lively. So like, you know, you could bring it to the halfway point here. Now you can hear that a bit, right? So there's a little bit there. And then if you turn your reverb on, however you have it set, but anyways, I guess that parameter is there to make it give you a little more realism, amp in the room feel. That's what I think anyways. But another good tone shaping. And then the level, don't see a need really to touch it unless you want to use this as your volume boost, right? So let's play with the level and just see how, if it does affect the tone. I don't think it does very much. Yeah, so level can help if, you know, you have some other settings in your amp block that, you know, it's like, oh, I wish it was louder, but I don't want to touch anything in there. Use the level on the cab. You can assign, you know, do a controller assignment to the level and use that as your lead boost. And actually there, it didn't sound bad at all. It actually seemed to bring everything a little more to life when I increased the level, like for a solo. All right, so that's the parameters in the cab block. And yeah, definitely don't overlook them. Play with them. Use them to your advantage. Because just when you think a preset I can't improve it, it sounds terrible, play around with this. The EQ block and your amp, all three together, focus on those. And then things like adding a drive or a delay, or maybe like a compressor or some kind of modulation. Those are a little more icing and on the cake, you know, a little more gravy, so to speak. Work on that. Don't overlook the cab block. I can't stress it enough because it is a big factor in shaping your tone. Okay, so that's the video for today. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button. And I appreciate all the viewers, all the new viewers, returning viewers. Thank you so much. Drop a comment below. Tell me if you like this video, or if there's any other kind of functional videos such as this that you would like to see for the Pod Go, or even some other kind of effect unit, maybe the Helix or whatnot. Okay, so take care, and we'll see you in the next video.